The conversation continues on It Factor. Let's jump back in with PwC.
So let's shift gears a bit, Nilesh. Let's talk about another important component of, the IBPAP roadmap, which is infrastructure. COVID accelerated the strengthening of infrastructure, both physical and digital, when we had to make this shift from on-site to hybrid. A lot of our employees decided to go back to their home cities and provinces. And the question on many of our minds was, how good is the infrastructure to support this remote work environment? Now, what has been your experience, in working with both digital and physical infrastructure here in the Philippines? What are the challenges? What are the opportunities in the years ahead?
Yeah, so yes, I was worried as well during COVID. How will we do this outside of the office? And in the office, obviously, as you can expect, Jack, we have some of the state-of-the-art, world-leading technology in place, and that money can buy. Everything is well-equipped, and people can operate seamlessly out of these offices. They can connect with their colleagues and counterparts across the world without a problem. But surprisingly, I'll tell you, technology withheld, right? Technology was fine during those times. Yeah, sure, there were glitches and there were blips, but technology withstood the heavy pressure and demand at the time of COVID, and we operated without a glitch, right? I'll tell you, during the entire 2+ years that Philippines was basically closed and people were working from home, there was not a single day of downtime for PwC.
Wow.
Not a single day of downtime. In fact, we've done more work during that time and more productively than in fact before that. And in terms of physical space, you know that we are all for building amazing offices, right? So despite this create more now enshrining 50-50 work from home versus the office arrangement, and we are having that as well anywhere across our businesses, we still want to create good offices. Why? Because we want to have activity-based, collaboration-friendly work environments that are conducive to people waking up and wanting to come to something better than just staying at home. Because this is where we build culture. This is where we build cohesion. This is where we develop this sense of identity and belonging for our people. The digital infrastructure withstood the pressures of COVID. However, as we move towards more AI-augmented tools that are going to be bandwidth hungry, I think the country as a whole and the governments and the administrations of the day need to consider investment into them beyond what they have already done. I think a lot more expressways, highways, skyways are needed. The underground subway coming to life in Manila now would be a great step in the right direction, but you need more of those. You need to connect Pasig with BGC, with Makati and beyond, right? We should be able to transport people across north, south, east and west.
Well, thank you for articulating that so well. That interplay between the needs of the industry for sound physical infrastructure on top of, digital infrastructure and connectivity. Now, I do want to go back because many of our viewers might be, after hearing all the wonderful things that PwC is doing, you are quickly emerging as the employer of choice for the industry. Any words of advice, Nilesh, on anyone aspiring to work for PwC? I mean, what would you impart to them? What are some of the skills and behaviors that you would like to see in your future hires?
We want people, every single individual, to be thinking about, how do I apply this new technology, this new tool, this better way of doing something to what I'm doing to, one, eliminate the things that I don't need to do, two, make my life easier, three, allow me to do something different and better for the client, and overall give the client a much better experience-driven solution.
Analytical skills, problem-solving skills, and creativity seem to be what you're saying regardless of domain, right?
Absolutely. And as I mentioned to you before, technology powered and human led is our mantra, right? Which basically means we'll use and harness all the technology that's available. And you would have seen in the press, PwC has gone big on AI, invested a lot of resources and money into ChatGPT, into the use of Microsoft Copilot. We have a tool called Chat PwC coming out of the ChatGPT solution. We are using and applying all of these tools into our everyday service solutioning for clients, right? So that's one. But also, Jack, in addition to that, the human-led part cannot be forgotten. We want to make sure that the humans are trained, the people are trained to be able to harness this technology and use it to our clients' advantage and their advantage, right? So we are still playing along on that as well, training our people on communication skills, coaching skills, how to share, learn, care for people, and not lose that empathy factor that doesn't come with machines.
Fabulous answer to that question, Nilesh. Talking about workspace, let's talk a little bit about PwC's location strategy. I've been to your Pasig office. Now we're in, your beautiful new setup here in the heart of BGC. And I know, you do not make these decisions randomly. I mean,
Yep.
They were made deliberately.
Yep.
What's the rationale behind that? And what are your future plans and growth projections?
So, Jack, when I first came here as part of the team that was about to set up the business in 2010, right? BGC had 2 buildings or 3 buildings. And very different to the BGC we know now, right? BGC is a metropolis, right? And when I first came here, there were 2 or 3 buildings, and basically barren land. And so, with the lack of infrastructure, with the lack of transportation, and all the amenities you need to enable people to come in and out of a building or a workspace, BGC wasn't the choice back then. And so we set up shop in Pasig because of the local government there supporting us, making us, giving the necessary support and incentives to put a business up there, but also, most importantly, having access to infrastructure and transportation. Our people were able to easily come in and out of the north and the south, right? So from the QC region, as well as Alabang, as far as Alabang, and in between, very easily. And Pasig was that sort of central point where after Makati, that was the next point. And we built our organization largely in that area. And we've been pretty happy. And with the current mayor and the town of Pasig doing and giving us so much support and help, it has been a great place for our people. A lot of people live around that area. The ecosystem is strong to allow for affordable living. All of that sort of adds to the reason why we built that place in Pasig, right? And it's a thriving business. Then we chose a consulting space, right? We were looking for a consulting space. And where do most of the consulting population live? They live in this now metropolis called BGC. So we thought, all right, we were always thinking about this place. Here we are with all the talent around us. Let's build space in a location that not only offered all the amenities of any other Western city in the world, but it also was the home of consulting talent. And above all, we were in the lookout for buildings that were focused on sustainable environmental ways of operating. And the building we are in right now is probably one of the greenest buildings in all of the Philippines.
So Nilesh, let's change tack. Let us talk about something that I know is very important to PwC globally and here in the Philippines as well, and your consulting practice here. Let's talk about ESG. What is the global strategy and imperative for ESG in PwC?
So Jack, obviously very topical. We are advisors to clients on ESG. And in fact, in one of the IBPAP conferences and forums a couple of years ago, we were the key speakers around ESG. So we take it very seriously, right? So there are a number of, obviously, our firm focuses on pillars of our clients, our people, and indeed the firm. But there's another pillar that we focus on quite heavily. It's living our purpose. And living our purpose entails more than just making a buck. It's more than just providing clients with solutions to their businesses. It's about the community at large. It's about the environment at large. It's about what are we going to do to pay forward to society so that it's for the benefit of everyone, right? And that's where the whole ESG concept comes in as well, the environmental factor. So we are all about environmental conservation through sustainable operations, right? We want to build offices. We want to operate offices in communities that are sustainable. For example, in the Manila business right here, right now, we have gotten rid of single-use plastics, right? The office has banned single-use plastics. We've given people utensils, recyclables for daily usage, for drinks, for eating their food, etc. We are a paperless organization here. No printers. We don't kill trees by printing volumes of paper. These kind of things are little, but our people are contributing every single day in making sure we do not pollute more than we have to, right? We want to go to net zero. That's the goal of the firm. So there's that on the environment. Then, as I mentioned to you before, the social or the education piece is the other big thing for us. Facilitating access to basic education must be a right of people. That's what we are here in this community trying to do. Whichever community we live and operate in, we want to make sure that the kids in that area have access to basic education. So what are we doing with respect to that? We are working with LGUs in trying to support schools in painting, repairing, and donating chairs, tables, and whatever else they may need to have a fully functioning school. You've got to get the basics right first. Then we've got to fix the curriculum, and then we're going to do many other things after that, right? So that's what we are trying to do. Get to the basics, do all those things right to set an environment that itself then propels people to lead to economic prosperity and standard of living, so on and so forth. And after all of that, one of the other things that we as a firm are focused on is diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? We are big champions of making sure that our own policies first, because charity begins at home. Our own policies first are geared to ensuring that there is no gender divide when it comes to pay, when it comes to promotions and opportunities, that no matter what religion, race, color, or gender orientation you walk in with, none of that should matter. What should matter is this: what you bring to the table in terms of the skill, the knowledge, and how are you going to solve tomorrow's problems and build trust with society. That's what we want. That's what we celebrate. So we sponsor financially and in practice and with manual labor and support industry bodies or organizations that support women empowerment, women in technology, the Pride movement, LGBTQ plus movements, and we celebrate that openly in the firm. You need to come to one of our parties, because at our parties, we allow people to come as they feel, right? And it's not just allowing people, it's just because how they feel. Now being part of this organization, where we've tried to create a very safe space. So it doesn't matter what walk of life you're from, what gender orientation, race, color, religion you may belong to. You come in as you are. And people come and celebrate these parties even more than they used to. And it just goes to celebrate or show what we are all about here. And we mean it when we preach diversity, equity, inclusion. We want to live it every day.
That's very admirable, Nilesh. And thank you for the invite. I will certainly participate in one of those parties. It is also part of the core values, of IBPAP. This being an ESG-driven organization, and of course with DEI as part of our agenda as well. Now, I'd now like to talk about, the positioning and rebranding that PwC has been very aggressive in pursuing, basically positioning the Philippines, as a global hub for services. I know you're a champion of the talent, so I'd like to have the audience, hear from you.
Ian.
How you are working with IBPAP in positioning the Philippines as a provider of these high value experiences for global customers, and how you do your part in amplifying the value of the services we provide globally.
Yep. So Jack, as I've alluded to earlier, we came here to start work in more low-level tasks, right? Like most of the IT-BPM industry at the infancy stages of their journey did. And we have graduated from that position into a much higher up the value chain service model. And here we are now doing work that is far more similar and integrated with our counterparts in the US, in Australia, in our member firms across Germany, Europe, London, places like that, right? So across the globe, we are doing more higher up the value chain work, which means our teams are getting involved in engagements, in conversations, much earlier in the piece, and in a much more elaborate and complex way than they used to. So it's no longer just sending a piece of work to the Philippines and they'll do the ticking and bashing and away it goes. No, we are there from the start, all the way through the execution of it towards the end, and we are in the journey from end to end, right? And that in itself allows our people to become more exposed to learning opportunities that otherwise would not have happened. So what do you do when you create or when you take people up the value chain? You inadvertently, because you're required to, train and coach and expose them to work which will then build their capabilities and their knowledge and their skills levels to then create an individual who is on par with anyone else in the PwC world, anywhere else. Mm-hmm. They've all heard about the Philippines. They all want to do business here, right? And our talent pool is able to provide that.
I want to thank you, Nilesh, for being such a champion of the Philippines as a IT-BPM destination, and for just continuing to promote our capabilities and alongside yours as a global services hub for your global customers. As we celebrate IBPAP's 20 years of service to the industry, we could not have done it, without the commitment, the partnership, and energy of our community, and it's to individuals like you and companies like PwC that we are so happy and privileged to celebrate 20 years as an organization. So before we wrap up, can I ask you to say some words, as part of our 20th anniversary, about the partnership that we have enjoyed and the future that we will continue to chart?
Jack, I've told you many times, on and off camera, that IBPAP plays a very significant role in not just pursuing the interests of the members, but in terms of pursuing the interests of the country itself as a whole, right? A large part of the economic prosperity of the Philippines depends on the IT-BPM sector. You know it, I know it, the whole country knows it, the world knows it, right? So we have to do everything possible to propel it forward with the right policies, the right lobbying, the right information, education and understanding, and the right partnerships. We are there as the private sector to assist governments to take us into that future for our benefit and for the benefit of societies that we live and operate in. We want not just our firms to thrive, but societies and communities to thrive, because then everything does well, right? All the shortcomings, the challenges we've mentioned get addressed when society moves forward and everyone wins, right? IT-BPM, the body, the industry, the governors, The Board of Trustees have played such a huge role in the last so many years in propelling that message, and I wish them all the success for the future. We'll be there at that table with you, sponsoring, helping, supporting in whatever way we can to keep the message flowing. Because one thing we've got to remember, Philippines has a world-class offering on the table, which is its people. It's warm, friendly, resilient people with so much knowledge, understanding, experience, and growth over the so many years. You've got a well-rounded product here that we want to take to the world. The world already has heard about it. Some of them are using it, but we want to expose it even further. The client interactions our people have with clients overseas, the way in which they communicate, articulate, and share their knowledge, and do it in this warm Filipino style, is just bar none, right? So I came here for 2 years. It's been 10 now, Jack. I haven't left. Philippines has been good to me, my family, and indeed the firm. And we've had so much fun and excitement in growing the business here and transforming the lives of thousands of people that have walked through these doors, have been trained, have learned, shared, and built something for themselves, their families, and their wider communities. So I wish IT-BPM all the success, and we intend to be right there, right next to you at that table, pushing the agenda through.
Well, Nilesh, what can I say? I just want to give you my heartfelt thanks and gratitude on behalf of, the IBPAP team, our board of trustees, and the 1.8 million strong workforce, for being such an important part of the community and the IT-BPM ecosystem. Without, we can't do this alone, and it's certainly the partnership that we continue to build and strengthen that will take us and accelerate in the next 20 years. So thank you again, and it's really been such an insightful conversation with you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. We'll be here doing our part. Cheers.
And that's it for today with It Factor. Thank you for tuning in with us. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow and subscribe to IBPAP on Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram. Catch the next episode on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Till next time, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep finding the it that sets you apart.
That's information technology and business process management. We are coders and programmers, agile animators, illustrators, auditors, analysts, from consultants to managers, nurturing nurses and doctors, data developers and testers, VA smiling CXRs and artificial intelligence engineers. Oh wait, there's more. We are problem solvers and number crunchers. We speak in several languages, including Java, Python, Python, and so on. And on and on and on. We create heroes and villains. We gain experience and level up in life.
We are the IT-BPM industry, working with the Philippines. Join us.
IBPAP.